Stop throwing your beef fat away because you can use it to make a lot of things just by turning it into this. And this is called tallow oil. Tallow oil is used to produce a lot of skincare products, laundry bar soap, candles, and so on. And it's also considered as a healthy edible oil, and this is also a good business idea because it's a very lucrative business. It's very expensive and the demand is high, so you can start doing it today to earn money. Now if you're interested, just watch this video to the end. And now, without wasting much of your time, let's get down to business. Hi friend, welcome to my channel. I hope you're doing okay. And in this video today, I'll be teaching you how to render and purify goat and beef tallow. So the first thing I did was to go to the market around me where they butcher animals like cow, goat, and so on. You can use any animal fat of your choice. So for this video purpose, I'll be using cow fat and also goat fat. So in here I have the cow fat, and this cow fat is a little dried. I couldn't find the fresh one, so please make sure you get a very fresh cow fat. So I have the cow fat here, and in here I have the goat fat. Now you can see that the goat fat is looking very fresh, so I'll be using these two fat to make my tallow oil differently. So when I got to the slaughter, it was already late and I couldn't get the fresh beef fat, so I got the one that has been sun dried for 2 days because I'll be using it to make laundry bar soap. So I don't really mind. All I need to do is to just wash it properly and also select the bad ones out of the good ones. Now please take note, if you know you're making this oil for edible purpose or for cooking purpose, here are two important things you need to look out for. Number one, you need to make sure that the fat you are using is from the animal heart area. The fat around the animal heart is the healthy edible fat. And number two, you need to make sure that the fat is fresh. It's very important, and you need to be very specific when getting it. Tell them exactly what you need, that you need the fat around the heart area. That is a healthy edible fat, so please be very careful. So all I'm just doing here is to clean it properly before using it by washing it properly with salt and water, and also selecting out the bad ones from the good one. So just go through this process. You can wash it for about 3 to 4 times, and after that you can then move on to the next process. So after selecting the bad fat, I'll just throw it away and then change the water, and then repeat the process by cleaning it well again because it's for personal use, so I need to be very careful. So I'm just taking out my time to clean it before using it. So this is about after cleaning it for like 2 times, this is the 3rd time, I'll just rinse it up and then go on with the next process. It's actually very simple and also very easy. Just in case you don't want to go through the stress of cleaning it like I did, you can just make sure you wash it properly before going through the next process. So after washing it, go ahead and dice it, like to slice it, cut it into chunks, and then you can just use your food processor to crush it a little bit. But if you don't have food processor, while cutting it, just make sure you cut it into smaller chunks. It needs to be very small so that while processing it, it won't take too much time. One of the advantage of crushing it with food processor or blender is that it makes the oil to come out well. So if you crush it, the oil will easily come out than when you cut it in chunks. So after crushing it, this is exactly what it looks like. So at this point, I'll just go ahead and add water. The purpose of adding water is to prevent it from burning. So adding water will prevent it from burning, and you also need to make sure that you are boiling it on a very low heat. So you place it on a very low heat, and then you add water to prevent it from burning. And you also need to add salt. Now the salt and water will help to purify the oil, and also it will prevent the odor. So if you want a pure, clear, odorless tallow oil, make sure you add water and salt, because the water and salt will help to purify the oil, and then you will get a pure, clear, odorless tallow oil. So in this first pot I have goat fat, and it's the edible part of the fat, so I'll be using it for cooking purpose. So all I did was to add the salt and cover it, and after 40 minutes this is what it looks. So you can see it. So as the water starts to dry, the oil will start coming up without the oil burning. So that's the major purpose of adding the water. So in the second pot I have the beef fat, which I'll be using to make my laundry bar soap. So I also added water and salt into it. So you can see how it's boiling gradually. So I left it for about 40 minutes to 1 hour, and after that, this is the goat oil. Now you can see it's looking very clean and pure, and you can also see the amount of the oil. So that's the major purpose of crushing the fat a little bit with either blender or food processor, or dice it in smaller chunks, because it will enable it to produce more oil. So I'll just go ahead and extract the oil by straining it. Now you need to make sure that you use a very clean cloth. You can use any cheesecloth to strain the oil. So I'll be doubling it so as to make sure that I strain it well without any particles going into the oil, because we want pure oil. So you need to make sure that you double it, and that's exactly what I did in the video. So after doubling it, you can just use something like rubber band to hold it before pouring in your oil, to avoid it spilling or to avoid it falling into the oil. Now before straining the oil, you need to make sure that you leave it for at least 30 minutes to cool a little bit before you strain it, because it will be very hot. So straining it immediately after bringing it down from the heat might either burn your hand or burn the cheesecloth that you're using to strain it. So it's very important that you allow it to cool a little bit before straining, and that's exactly what I'm doing here. So you can see the reason you need to strain it. You can see the fat particles, so you need to make sure that you double the cheesecloth so as to get pure, clear oil. And also, if you know that the fat oil is still containing water in it, when you're straining it, just be very careful when scooping out the oil so that you wouldn't add water. But this one was really dried. But even if it's not really dried, we still have a process to get out the water, which is what I'll be showing you in the video. So please pay attention. So after straining the goat oil, you can see what we have. This is the pure goat tallow oil. You can see how clear it's looking. It's looking this clear because we added water and salt. It's because we added water and salt. So the water and salt help to prevent it from burning, and it also helped to purify it. And another reason that goat oil is looking very clear is because the goat fat was still very fresh. So we're going to extract the fat oil, and then we compare the both oil so that you can see the difference between using fresh fat and using the dried fat. But to me personally, the major part of extracting this oil is adding that water and salt, because it will help to prevent it from burning, and also it will help to give you a clear, pure, odorless tallow oil. So when you add water, the color will come out clear and pure. So that's the major reason of adding water when extracting your fat oil. Now moving on, after straining the cow tallow oil, this is what we have. You can see how good it's looking also, but the down part of the pot still contains a little bit of water, so I'll just strain it and show you, and this is it. But I'll be showing you how you can get rid of this water. Now because I'm making purified odorless tallow oil, I'll have to go through another process to make sure that the oil is purified and also to make sure that it's odorless. So all I have to do is to leave it to cool, and then I'll put it inside the freezer or fridge to completely solidify before I'll go to the next process. And after that, this is what it will look like. Now you can see at this point it has solidified, and I will then go on with the next process. But if you don't want to purify your oil at this stage, your oil is ready, you don't have to go through this next stage. But for this stage, I want to make sure that the oil is purified, and I also want to make sure that it's odorless. So all I'm just doing here is to repeat the process. So all you have to do, put it back into the pot. This is basically what we did earlier with the boiling process. So all you have to do, take it back to the pot, and you also need to add a small amount of water. So when you add the water, just go on and add salt as well. Now adding salt, like I said earlier, will help to purify the oil and also remove the odor, especially if you're using the oil to produce any skincare products. So it will help to get rid of the odor. So when you add the salt, cover it, set it on a low heat, and allow it to boil until the water is completely dried or until the water is almost dried. Now this is the beef tallow oil. It's still the same process if you want to purify it, but just in case you don't want to purify it, at this point this is ready for use. You can just store it. And if this oil contains any impurity or any beef stock in it, when you store it into the freezer, the water or the stock will settle at the down part of the bowl, which is exactly what I'm scraping out of the fat or oil. So you can see how clear is looking, and that's the essence of boiling this with salt and water. It will help to purify it. So because I'll be using this to make laundry bar soap, and because it's for personal use, I would still like to repeat the process just to make sure that I have a complete, pure, odorless tallow oil. So I'll just take it back into the pot and also add water and also add salt and cover it, set it on a low heat, and allow it to boil until the water is completely dried. And just like I said earlier, if the oil still contains water, stock, or any impurities in it, this is how you can get it off. When you place it inside the fridge, the oil will solidify, and then when you flip it over, the water or stock can easily come off, and then you can just use your knife to scrape it off and remove the excess moisture or any residues, and then go on and repeat the boiling process if you want to, or you can just leave it to air dry before storing it. Now let's go back to the goat tallow oil, and this is after the second process. After boiling it for the second time, this is what I have. You can see how clear it's looking, and at this point it is ready for use. But if you still want to repeat this process again to make sure that you purify it very well, you can still repeat it. So you can just repeat the same process we used earlier. But at this point, this is ready for use if you're using it for cooking purpose. You can see it's looking clear, and you can use it to cook anything, and it's odorless, and it tastes really good as well. You can use it to prepare food, and it will add extra flavor and taste to your food. Is really nice, and I love cooking with it. So after straining, this is what we have. So now we have a clear, purified tallow oil. So this is the particular one for cooking. What we have here is pure edible cooking tallow oil, and in here I have the beef tallow oil, and this is also after the second process. Now I'll just go on and strain it. Now how to store the edible tallow oil: just get any airtight jar and store it, and whenever you want to use it and cook, you can just scoop out any amount you need, and then you can use it and cook your food. And for the beef tallow oil, after straining, this is what we have. Now you can see it's looking very good, clear, and pure as well. Now if you want to use it to produce any product like laundry bar soap, bathing soap, just go on and use it. It's ready for use. Now let me show you the reason you need to repeat the process like 2 to 3 times. This is after boiling it for the second time. Can you see what I'm getting off from that pot? Can you see the stock that is settling at the down part of the pot? You can see the color. This actually came out from the oil. So if you repeat it like 3 to 4 times, it will come out very clear, and it will also come out perfect for anything you wish to use it for. So it's important. Now finally, this is the end result, and this is the amount of oil I got from it. And I'll be using it to make laundry bar soap in my next video. I'll be teaching you how you can make laundry bar soap with tallow oil. So turn on your notification bell. So friend, you can see the oil, and if you want to do this, just go and get any animal fat of your choice. It's not even expensive to get the animal fat, but the oil is very expensive. To get pure tallow oil is very expensive. And now, how to store your tallow oil? You can get an airtight glass jar and pour it into it, and when it solidifies, you can just use your spoon and scoop out any amount you need whenever you want to use it, or you can just allow it to solidify, and after that cut it into smaller chunks and store it into a Ziploc bag. And then whenever you want to use, you can just take any amount you need and you use it. So that's it. So friend, that's the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. And if you're just joining me for the first time, my name is Gift, and I'm super excited to welcome you here. Please do not forget to subscribe to my channel, and also turn on your notification bell so that you'll be the first to watch my next video. And at the end of this video, please do not forget to give this video a thumbs up and leave your comments down below. And don't also forget to share this video to your friends. So I'll see you in my next video, but before then, stay blessed and keep loving one another. Bye.